Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Just checking to see whether everything is okay. I'm a little bit early. As I do, I like to make sure that everything's working before I say we're going to start at 3 o'clock. So for those people in the house already, can you hear it okay? And the vision's okay? Everything else okay? Give me a thumbs up if everything is working okay, or an answer in the box. I've just turned my iPad on and I can hear some noise. Mr. Lampon, loud and clear, good. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay, I'm all set up. I've got my coffee, retired and living the dream, my t-shirt on, my logo, whatever. I've ordered the blue sky, so it's beautiful here. And I've got a number of questions here that people have asked for. And as I say, we'll just go through them. And thankfully, the guy over the road's finished cutting the grass. He had his weed whacker, his strimmer out, and he was making such a big noise. And I'm thinking, oh, that's just going to make a loud noise here on the live stream. Coffee. I love coffee. So yeah, I've got my little ice bucket here. Hang on, I'll just turn my fan on. I just turned my fan on because it is today. It's quite warm. Look at that. It's over 34.8. It is. So that's quite warm for over here. For considering we're still in rainy season, and 73% humidity, which is quite high. So I've turned the fan on now just to cool the air. And the mosquitoes have been biting me feet, so I've got a bit of an itchy foot. So how are we doing? Oh, we got 13 in already. Wow, 13 people queuing. So basically, if anybody wants to ask any questions, because I'll read the comments on the side of my computer here. So if you just put a Q at the beginning of it, and then I know you've got a question, and if I can answer it, I'll answer it. Now, as I say, by answering some of the questions, I may miss other people's questions. So don't be thinking I'm ignoring your questions. It's just sometimes the answers take a little bit longer, and then the messages eventually scroll up. So be patient, and if you've got a question, just put into the queue and I'll answer the questions as and when I can. A lot to talk about this today with regard to what we've been up to and what is maybe going to come everybody's way if it works out as far as medical insurance is concerned. That's a big topic today to cover. I got loads and loads of questions when I went down, did the interview in Bangkok, and I've done the interview now, and I've edited the video and I've sent it for approval from the Pacific Cross. And I'm just waiting for the contact details now, which he said it'll be on Tuesday, because Monday is like a public holiday here, so nothing's going to get done until Tuesday. So fingers crossed. It's just a case of putting the edits on with regard to the email contacts, and then we'll just go from there. But it was very, very, very informative. So 20 people, and now we're still about 5 minutes away from where I said it was going to start. So I'll wait until 3 o'clock before I actually properly start, and then everybody knows 3 o'clock is the start time. So picture is very clear, Les. Thanks very much. And D in Isan. Good day, Les. That must be from Australia. Afternoon from a wet Koh Samui. Koh Samui raining? Never. Well, hopefully the blue skies will come on. We ordered this especially for today, so maybe we've stolen your blue sky. But Koh Samui, I love Koh Samui. It's a beautiful place. See you in November, Les. Eric, yeah, November is not very far away, is it? Looking forward to it, Eric. Great, you chat to us all, mate. Yeah, I'll chat to anybody and everybody. I did a call yesterday. That was for about 2.5 hours long to a guy in Texas. Yeah, he just took took advantage of my $10 consultation fee, and he had a whole list of questions. So it usually lasts for an hour, but chatting to this guy in Texas, it lasted for about 2.5 hours, and he got all the information that he wants. I'm sure that he's got all the information that he wants because he took notes, and as we went through the questions, if we went off on a tangent, then we came back to his notes. So yeah, I'm a mine of information. I've been here for 11 years, so I know quite a little bit about living here. How are the local snakes going? I've not seen any today. I've not seen any of the slithery stracks because I put some sand down, some sort of sharp sand in amongst the run area, and I've not seen any like slither marks and that. But they don't really bother me. They're a little bit of a shock, and I'm not particularly fond of snakes, but the two snakes that I've actually seen, one came around the corner and I jumped and it jumped, which was quite funny. I wish I had it on camera. But he looked and I looked, and I could see it wasn't a cobra, so I just sort of stood my ground and off it went. And I've been told by many, many people who are in the know, snakes won't attack you unless you attack them. So leave the snake alone and it'll make its merry little way away from you. It's just as scared of you as you are of it. But if I see a cobra, I'll take steps, big steps in the opposite direction. Like as I said, the biggest snake that I've seen here it looked like a python, and you knew there was something up because all the birds were making such a loud squawking noise. It's like a distinctive noise. It's a danger noise. And when I came outside, all the birds were flocking around it, not attacking it, but just flocking around it. And it was like the width of the road, so it was a big beast, and that slithered off into the big long grass next door to me. So I'm glad it went in that direction and not towards us. So like the little tree snakes, we've seen a few of them, and over the years I've had two snakes that fell out of a tree and slithered down my arm, and I was surrounded by Chinese people. And once the snake got on my arm, and I just realised it, and I was like flicking it off. All the Chinese were taking pictures of me with this snake on my arm, and then the other snake just bounced off me and then bounced into the grass. So just the tree snakes. But like I say, cobras. There's cobras around here for sure. We've had a monitor lizard once in our garden. It was only a small, I say small, it was about 3/4 of a metre long. And that just scuttled off into the undergrowth type of thing. So they're here, the creepy crawlies, the scorpions, because it's rainy season, they come out. Ants, you get a lot of trouble with ants now inside of the house, and they're making tracks, and you spray them with the ant spray, and then they'll find somewhere else to try and get whatever they're going to get. Never leave any food in a basket or a bin on evening time, because the ants will find it, and then you'll get up in the morning and there's a big trail of ants going to your basket and eating whatever you left in the waste basket. Precautions, that's all it is. Good morning, Les, from a chilly Scotland. Oh, you've had it rough up there. I'm watching the weather. That 3-day storm. Wow. Is that the biggest storm Scotland's ever had? It certainly looked like it. And yeah, stormy season in England. So I hope everything clears up okay now in Scotland, and you get a little bit of warm weather before the real winter sets in. Oh, you can hear the air blowing across the mic. Okay, I've got a little dead cat on there, but I'll change the direction. I've got a microphone. It's got like a dead cat thing on it, so it's supposed to stop any wind. But is that any better? Can anybody hear the wind from that, or is that okay now? Hi, Les from the Gold Coast. Yeah, being on the Gold Coast, love the Gold Coast of Australia. I've seen the top 8 things of the top 10 things that can kill you in Australia on the Gold Coast. It's better. Okay, thank you. I don't want anybody to have like a humming background. But I bought one of these microphones with a furry cat on it, so it's supposed to stop the wind noise. But that's bobbling around a little bit. Hang on, I'll try something else. Okay, that might be a little bit better. It's coming in a different direction. Jim Collis, okay. Okay, so we all set up now then. Not too much noisy. The wind noise isn't affecting anybody, and everything is okie dokie. And if it's okie dokie, then we'll get started, as it's 2 minutes past 3 now. So from Les, retired and living the dream in Thailand, here we go on a live stream. You can ask any questions that you're impelled to ask, and I can answer away. And I would say I could answer 95% of the questions that anybody asks me. On the face-to-face videos that I do, I've never failed yet in answering anybody's questions. I'll point them into the right direction. I'm as honest as the day is long. I don't give you any BS, and the advice that I give you is relevant to the questions that you're going to ask. So okay, so let's start off with it. What have I been up to this week? I put a couple of videos out with regard to my meeting with a representative from Pacific Cross Medical Insurance. Now, my two biggest questions by far are on visas and medical insurance. Visas, I know quite a lot about visas with regard to workarounds and things like that. So I'm sort of not an expert on it, but I can sort of direct anybody and everybody on how to get a visa and how they can do it themselves, so they don't need to use an agent. And the ways that I suggest are more legal than using an agent. Not to say that using an agent is illegal, because there are plenty of agents about, and there's probably more agents now than there was 10, 11 years ago when I first came. So at the end of the day, agents have their magic wands, and they can do magical things with regard to visas and that. But okay, there's a lot of paperwork involved for various types of visas, but it's not insurmountable. It's not impossible. It can be done. But a lot of people use agents because they don't want to either tie up the money, the 800,000 baht, or they don't have the 65,000 baht a month as an income method. But there are ways and means around all of them lot. So, and you don't need an agent to do it. So that's what I'm saying. I can talk about that, all day and every day about it, because I know a lot about it, because I've helped many people overcome them. But medical insurance, there isn't a way around that. You either have to have it or you don't have it. And I've discussed various solutions with regard to self-insurance, and I've given some examples of self-insurance and how you can do it and various things like that. But the information that I gathered from the Pacific Cross representative, it's great. It's just like being sat next to the horse's mouth, and you can ask whatever questions you want and he answers them. Now, I've done the video, but I've sent the video for approval from Pacific Cross to make sure that everything was okay on the interview and the questions that were answered, and I've got the thumbs up for the approval. So now we're just formulating an email address, so you can actually email. Loic is the guy that I interviewed, and the questions will go to Loic and his team. Now, he has a team of people working for him, and they speak every language under the sun. So if you speak Japanese, Chinese, French, German, Dutch, he's got a representative that can speak to you in your own language. So with regard to asking any questions, you don't have to think about and asking the questions in English. He will put you in touch with a person that can speak your language, so you can ask whatever questions you want, which is fantastic, which I didn't know about. But there's so much good news with the interview that I had with him. And I want to take this opportunity to be able to expand on the video that will be coming out probably Tuesday or Wednesday next week with the interview that we had. Because although the video is 32 minutes long, we were talking for 2.5 hours, and it was all to do with medical insurance and what people are wanting. I got many questions, so I apologize to everybody that sent me an individual question. We sort of lumped them into various categories and asked the questions for sort of that category, because as you can understand, somebody with again, there was a guy with a hip replacement and he's got high blood pressure. That's a very specific question to ask the insurance guy. How many other people have got a broken hip or a bad hip, faulty hip, and high blood pressure? So that's what I'm saying. These people need to be asking the guy them specific questions. But this is why I had the interview, so I can give the details of this guy, Loic, and you can ask him the specific questions. There are sort of workarounds with regard to if you've had pre-existing conditions over a period of time. These pre-existing conditions may be overlooked, or you may be able to overcome them and be insured for these pre-existing conditions again. Pacific Cross deal with people up to the age of 99 years old, but after the age of 65, to get an insurance premium from Pacific Cross, you've got to undergo a small medical. Now I can see probably there's many people there panicking, like, oh, medical, oh, but at the end of the day, for a small fee, you're going to find out what is wrong with you, and then you know already what is wrong with you, and then whether they're going to insure that condition or not. And if you do, like, for instance, have high blood pressure, that does cut a number of benefits off that you're going to be covered for. But he'll be able to tell you what you're covered for and what you're not covered for. So many people that I've talked to with regard to medical insurance, this is a big topic, so I apologize if I'm going on for too long, but it's a massive topic. And the majority of people that I talk to, they think that it's too difficult to obtain medical insurance, so that they'd rather risk it and not take it. Now, my insurance cover is only for 700,000 baht. It's not a lot, according to many people. But like I said in the video, that cost me 25,000 baht a year. I can easily find 25,000 baht, but could I easily find 700,000 baht? In my position, no, I can't. So even if you have cover for, say, 700,000 baht, isn't that better than having nothing at all? They also do premiums where you pay monthly, pay quarterly, pay six monthly, and pay annually. But this is all in the video, and the information is going to be out there. So I said to him, be prepared to be besieged by lots and lots of people sending you your questions with regard to this. Excuse me. So, and there's more. We talked about many things, and and we talked about how you can keep your policy down by not having the outpatients. So he discussed in quite a bit of detail what outpatients actually cover, and even he says in his own words, it's advantageous to have it, but it's not necessary. And when he tells you what outpatients actually cover, it's probably not worth having the outpatients cover. Oh, and I've got these little black flies, so I apologise if I rub my nose. Now, I'll give you an example of outpatient cover and how cheap it is to go and see a doctor here. A couple of weeks or so ago, my wife wasn't feeling too well, and it was 11 o'clock on the evening. She had this incessant cough that she just couldn't get rid of for 2 or 3 days. So 11 o'clock, all the throat was sore because of the coughing, her chest was sore because of the coughing, and she felt unwell. She had a fever. So we went to the hospital. Went to the hospital 11 o'clock at night at Rayong Hospital, and what happened with there was she seen a doctor and she got medication. We were in and out within an hour, and she had a whole big boat full of medication, lotions and potions, wherever, and the whole lot 550 baht, which is about £12. And in and out in an hour. Now, in the UK, it's going to take you hours and hours to go and see the doctor anyway. So I've got to say that was at a public hospital. If it was at the top hospital, say the Bangkok, it'd probably be double, treble that cost. But you can go and see a doctor over here for relatively cheap. Oh, a donation by Mark. Thanks very much, Mark. Swati Cap. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. So the outpatients to go and see a doctor is cheap. It's not expensive at all. So, and there's even more news with regard to, I'm full of news, I'm full of good news today, which is good because there's that much bad news going on around the world at the minute. It's horrible. So another good news thing that my channel will be able to offer, because I said to him, I said, if we form a group policy where we had a number of members, say from my channel, Retired and Living the Dream, would we get further discounts on our insurance if we were formed as a group? Because as with everything, the more members of a group or an organization, the better deals you can get. And he said, yes, we'll look at that. And I was speaking to him yesterday, not yesterday, Friday, sorry. And he's ticking all the boxes with regard to getting a bigger discount if we have a group of people who all join the same scheme through Pacific Cross, through my channel, Retired and Living the Dream. So he's putting some figures together and putting some costs together with regard to the savings and things like that. So, and the group starts at only 30 people. If we've got 30 people joining Pacific Cross through my group, if it gets off the ground, that is, and that's all down to you, the members and my subscribers here, that if you're interested in formulating a group to get the group policy, then the more we have in the group, probably the bigger discounts we're going to get in the first place. So this is all due to the chat and the talk that I had with the representative from Pacific Cross. And it was a fantastic. So for those people, if they're interested in joining the group, then send me an email. I'll put my email address on the bottom here, just to let me know that the numbers that might be interested. And 58. That's my email address, LesliePearson58@yahoo.com. So initially, if you're interested in it, just send me, you might qualify for the policy, and you might not qualify for the policy, but if you're interested, that gives me an idea of the numbers and whether we actually take this forward or not. But it seems to be a good idea for those people who want to save money. Now that the Pattaya Expats Club do that because their policy is a group policy and they've got hundreds of people on that policy and they all do get a discount. But for those people that aren't a member of the Pattaya Expats Club, it's not open to them unless you join the Expats Club to become a member of their group and get the discount off the premium. So by starting this one with me, with the group policy, we can grow it and maybe just get it a little bit cheaper and better facilities and better cover. I don't know. It's all in your hands, as I say, for those people who were interested in it or not. Okay, right. Let's go through some of the questions. I've heard of many cases of dengue fever of late. Can you get vaccinated for dengue fever? Yes, you can get a vaccination for dengue fever. In fact, one of the guys, Ricky in Isan, his wife has just died, sadly, of dengue fever. And again, she just felt a little bit unwell, and she got taken into hospital, and the doctor said, yeah, she'll be okay, don't worry. Then she got transferred to another hospital, and sadly, she died. Yeah, so dengue fever, yeah, there is quite a lot of cases of dengue fever, but not everybody dies from dengue fever. Good morning, Les, from a sunny Portsmouth. Good morning, sunny Portsmouth. Nice to see that you could join us. Thanks very much. Awesome, Tom, Bangkok. A couple of weeks. I'll talk to a specific cross. Thanks. Also, thank you, Les. Well, again, as I say, With Pacific Cross, yes, you can do it as a single policy holder, no problem. But as I say, if you've got the contact details, and I'm going to put on one of my videos on Tuesday, you can talk to the horse's mouth, and their representatives can give you the exact details that you want. We can't even get an appointment to see the doctor at my local surgery anymore. It's all now done by nurses. Yeah, it's it. Within an hour. We were in and out within an hour. It was fantastic. How much is the Pattaya Expats group out of interest? I believe it's 600 baht to join the Pattaya Expats club. And then if you join the Pattaya Expats club, then you can join the group, their insurance. And I've got the details for that, for the lady who deals with the insurance. So if you send me an email, I can send you the details of the lady that deals with the Pattaya Expats Club's insurance, and that's through Pacific Cross also. I'll be doing a work project in Pattaya next month. Looking forward to catch up with you. I'm in Dalo, Guy, so we talk about how bad he is. Okay, Darlington, just up the road from me. I like Darlington. We had many. The shopping at Darlington was fantastic, so it was really, really good. So that's good. We've got 51 people in the house now and 19 thumbs up. Thanks very much. If you like the content up so far, give us a thumbs up. All of these little thumbs up and things like that, even if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. It all adds to the YouTube algorithm and gets the channel noticed and things like that. So, okay. Been with your channel for many years. Thanks. I've been going at it now for about 4 years. It surprised me really. As the numbers are growing slowly and slowly, but as I said, I think 8,600 now I've got. That's a long way from. I remember celebrating my first 1,000 people, but we're getting there slowly and surely. It's not as interesting as some of the videos that you can watch of Pattaya and things like that, but that's sort of a separate niche to me. I live in Thailand now properly as a married man, and so a married man has different wants and needs to somebody who wants to live or be a bit of a Jack the Lad in Pattaya. I've been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt, and I've loved and lived that lifestyle, and it was good for many years. But eventually, you just grow up out of it, and it's just like in Pattaya, it's like Pinocchio land. It's a man's paradise, but it's a fantastic place to live at that time. Do you ever get in trouble with YouTube about any of your content? No, never, ever, because I don't do bad content with regard to, showing stuff that you shouldn't get. I've had a couple of copyright strikes on my music that I put on the videos, but I've got a license agreement with the audio, and occasionally it slips through the net, and it's as if I haven't got a license. But all I do is just show them the license that I've got, because I do it all legally, and then it's put back to normal. So the monetization, but the money that I make from YouTube, it's about $100 a month. So it's not a lot. By the time I pay for my subscriptions and everything else, I'm doing it for next to nothing. So, but I'm not doing it for the money type of thing. I'm doing it because, one, it keeps me active, it keeps me focused, and it gives me something to do as well. And I enjoy doing it. And I've always enjoyed helping other people out, and this is what I do. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people over the years with regard to coming and living in Thailand. And it's a good way of doing it. And as I say, by doing that, I do have a couple of links to buy me a coffee, and some people donate by buying me a coffee. And Mark, with a super chat, he's given me a donation on the super chat there, which thanks very much. And I also have a few ebooks that I sell with regard to moving over to Thailand and things like that. I've got an Etsy shop. I also do the $10 consultation. So that's for people, rather than, firing 20 or 30 emails back and forth to each other with regard to questions that they want to ask, I'll say, just give me a call for $10, a $10 donation, and you can ask as many questions and I'll give you as many answers as you want. And if the question and answer session goes on for an hour or 3 hours, it's still the same, $10. And if I don't give you the answers to the questions that you want, then you don't pay. So, and you only pay after you've had the chat in the first place. So if you don't get what you want, you don't pay. But I've never failed yet at being able to answer the questions that people want to know. So no, I've never been in trouble off YouTube, because again, I don't put any graphic photographs on there. I don't put any. I'm not politically biased. I don't mention the C word. Now, there's 2 C words now that we can talk about. Is before, with the pandemic. Before, if you used to mention that, well, you got struck, or you get a warning thing off YouTube. And the other one now is the green stuff. That's now available in Thailand. That's a bit of a controversial issue at the minute. Is it going to get banned or isn't it going to get banned? Personally, I don't need any of the stuff. I'm happy enough without it, so I've never had to use it. But again, if you mention that, as Tim Newton found out on TNT News, he's had a couple of strikes because he's mentioned the green stuff. So now he calls it broccoli. So, but no, YouTube are quite strict with regard to policing of the YouTube channel. So no, I keep within the rules and everything works out okay for me, thankfully. If you can help me out, I'll send you my bank details. I don't need anybody's bank details. I never ever need anybody, because what I do, I have a buy me a coffee link. So we have the chat, and then I'll send, if you're happy with it with the chat, then I'll send you a buy me a coffee link, which is you make a donation to PayPal, and that's all it is. So it's very, very simple. I will never ever ask for anybody's bank details. Again, I've helped so many. I've helped people relocate to houses here. I've helped people with regard to the visas. I've directed people towards visa agents. I've also helped people get their driver's licenses. So if you're in the know, and it's only because I've lived here for 11 years, I know the score and everything. So I know where you can go. So right, let's go on to something else. So I put a few things on here for those people. I mean, my channel's called Retired and Living the Dream. And I've got to say, I am retired, but I still do my little bits, this YouTube. So when you retire, you've got to do something. You cannot just retire, put your feet up and do nothing, because you'll get bored. And I've met so many people over here that are bored and then have become bar stool warriors, where they've got nothing else better to do, so they'll just go and prop a bar stool up all day and talk to the other bar goers who are bored. And that. I'm not saying all the people that go to a bar are boring people and they've got nothing to do. It's a social event sometimes, but also sometimes it can become boring because there's nothing to do here. And that's what I've actually said to Ricky. Sadly, his wife died, and now he's on his own in the middle of a village with no other foreigners around him, with 2 babies and a Thai family. He doesn't speak Thai very well, so that's one thing that he will have to brush up on, is his Thai. And the fact he's only a young man as well, and I wish him every happiness and success. He's been through the ringers, the young lad, with regard to losing your wife so early, especially with a 11 or 12-week-old babies. It's very, very, very sad. But loneliness in a village can become very, very quick, and it's just difficult to get out of it. Even though you have the internet and you can talk to other people on the internet, it's not the same as having a cup of coffee or lunch with somebody that speaks your language. Then you can just talk and talk and talk all day with regard to putting the world to rights or whatever. Now, if you live in an isolated place like that and you're on your own, it's even more difficult. And I know a couple of guys that live in a village and the whole family are living with him and his girlfriend. So he's got about 8 or 10 other all Thais living in the same house as him, and he's the only foreigner in the house. So he's excluded out the conversations because he can't speak the language. So he sits on his own, and he's in a group of people laughing and joking, and he doesn't get what's going on. Now, over a number of weeks and months, that just gets to him because he just becomes more and more isolated, and there's nobody else in the same village that he can speak to. And the nearest person that lives to him is 30 kilometers away. So he has to travel 30 kilometers to go and actually speak to another English speaking person. So that is one of the biggest things with regard to living here in Thailand. Living remotely, it's great if you like your own company and you can have a conversation with your wife. Now, I'm lucky that my wife speaks really, really, really good English. So we can have a proper conversation. Whereas some of the other Thai wives of expats that I know, their English is very, very basic, and you can't have a conversation about them. For instance, if we've seen something happening on the news, which we have with the Israeli and the Gazas, what's going on there, me and the wife can talk about it and say how horrible it is, and have our own opinions of it. I'm lucky the fact that my wife can speak good English, so I can have a conversation. So we live semi-remotely because we live in a village, but we do have foreigners around us, so we sort of have the best of both worlds. But if we go up to my wife's farm in Karat, then it's more difficult because if we spend 2 or 3 weeks there, I am the only foreigner in the village. But I'm happy with that because I'm happy with the fact that my wife spends a number of days or weeks with her family because she lives with me 24/7. So I give her that ability to be able to spend quality time with her family. I just sit in the veranda and I'm happy doing my videos on the YouTube and things like that. So you've got to assess what retirement is going to be like here in Thailand. It looks beautiful with the tropical landscapes that you get, beautiful beaches and that. But if you're lonely in a village, then it could be probably the worst place in hell because you can be bored so easily. So I'll just tick some of the boxes that I think for those people who think they're going to retire into Thailand. Do your research, do your homework with regard to moving or where you would like to move in Thailand. There's a number of people saying that, oh, I'd like to come and live where you live, Les, in Rayong. It looks peaceful. It is peaceful. It's beautiful. But I've also had many people that come here and said, I don't want to live there. It's too quiet. But yet on the investigation, I want to live there. It looks so peaceful, tranquil and quiet. I just want to be there. But actually when they see it, you need transportation over here. You can't just order a Grab or a Bolt taxi here. There is no taxis to get you home into the middle of the countryside. So that causes other problems, So I would suggest, and I've suggested to several people, come to Thailand, do your homework, live in some various locations for not just a week or 2 weeks, do it for at least a month. And by doing that, it helps you get a feel of the place that you're going to be in. Also, get your license, so you have an international driver's license, so at least you can drive around the area. Also, if you haven't got a motorbike license, get a motorbike license if you come to Thailand. Have a little scooter driving around the local quiet areas with scooters. You see a lot more on a scooter than you do in a car. So the homework is your research with regard to the areas where you want to live. There's some beautiful. I love this. Look at that view over there. That's my sofa there. The sunrise comes up over there. It's beautiful. It's a big shaded veranda here. So we spend a lot of the time out on the sofa and we love it. So, but it's not for everybody. So, okay, that's that. And coming onto this is your goals. What goals, your life goals that you're going to be want. Everybody says, oh, when I retire, I want to sit and do nothing. But doing nothing can get you bored. Living in Thailand is a fantastic place, but if you play golf or go fishing and things like that, you look at the places where you can go and do all of them things. Your goals, as you're getting older, with age, becomes less mobility. And for instance, I mean, like the average age now of a retiree is 67-year-old. Now, you can't do the things at 67 that you could do at 60. I was lucky that I retired at 50 years old. And by retiring at 50 years old, I could do many things. And I've been retired now for 13 years and I've done many, many things. But could I do them things now at 63? No, because I'm a little bit overweight. The fitness has gone, a little bit of arthritis. So, no. So, retire as young as you can and do wherever you can, whilst you can, for as long as you can. So yeah, have your goals and your wishes and your dreams of what you want to do. Travel, you know, travel around Asia is so cheap. Anyway, let me get back to reading some of the comments. Okay. Yeah, you don't need the green stuff, Les, if you're higher in life in Thailand. Cheers. I've never, ever taken anything because I'm happy the way I am. And if I'm happy the way I am, why do I need to take anything else? Lost the hearing and the sight of my left side. Started to try to see a doctor in the UK in March 2023. 2 days ago was told will be another year to see a specialist in the hospital. The NHS is so disgraceful. They say not urgent. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Absolutely devastated. Sorry, that you're going through that. But even if you went to see a private doctor, it's going to cost a fortune to go and see a private doctor. So yeah, my best wishes to you, my friend, and I hope you get things sorted out. But to be told not urgent is disgusting. Sorry to hear. One of my mates moved from Australia to Bangkok. The expat social culture is really good for him. He plays football 4 times a week. They meet at least once a week for dinner, beers. He really loves it. Yeah, we have a brunch club every week here in Rayong. Every week, it's between 6 and 12 of us. We'll meet for an hour and put the world to right and have a bit of lunch. And then, as they will go socialize around each other's houses every now and then. And yeah, it is as good as you want it to be. Now, we say Bangkok is full of expats, so is Pattaya and Jomtien, Hua Hin, all the favourite places that you can think of. There's an expats club, there's Facebook groups, Rayong Expats, where I'm a member of on Facebook here, and everything Rayong, something like that. There's many where you can meet people, so there's no need to be alone by living in any area in Thailand. But obviously, the more touristy it is, the more busy it's going to be, and the more chance you've got the expats. I mean, at the minute, like Phuket and Koh Samui is full of Russians. The Russians have invaded Phuket and the Koh Samui, and for me personally, I think that's going to cause some problems in the future with regard to the amount of Russians. And the Russians have actually been given a bit of a special favour. There was a little bit of good news that was spread a number of weeks ago. There was rumours that they're going to increase it from 30 days, the exemption visa, to 90 days. So everybody was all getting up excited about it, thinking, yes, this is great for tourism, and 90 days would be fantastic. Yeah, it turned out it'd be 90 days for the Russians. Nobody else at the minute, unless they're going to change that, which it doesn't appear so. But they've given the Russians 90 days here in Thailand, and the Chinese, there was rumours that they were going to offer it to the Chinese as well, but they haven't. Just the Russians at the minute. So, and the Thai Prime Minister actually shook hands with Vladimir Putin. So what's going on there behind the scenes, I do not know. But the Ruskies are certainly here to stay, and they're causing a lot of property inflated prices in Phuket, and rental has gone through the roof in Phuket. And basically, I think they'll do the same no matter where they go. They're in Koh Samui at present, so everything in Koh Samui is going to go in the northwards direction. Prices are going to go up and everything. So, yeah, do your homework, do your research, live in the places, because if it's full of Russians, you don't want to be next door to a Russian family that make a lot of noise and cause a lot of disturbance. So, do your homework. I'd be interested in joining a group, and I've got a couple of pre-existing conditions at the age of 72. Well, as I say, to join the expat, to join the Pacific Cross anyway, if you're over 65, you've got to have a medical anyway. So this just sort of clears the ways to say what can be covered and what can't be covered. And in reality, there's a benefits package for everybody, no matter what ailment or pre-existing conditions, whether you're happy with that, because you might not get coverage for, I can't think of any reasons, offhand what it could be. Say if you have a kidney infection or a liver infection or something like that, you're still going to get cover for heart conditions or lung conditions or something like that, but with the exclusions of your liver or your kidneys or something like that. So isn't it better to be covered than not for other things? It might not cover everything that you want it to cover, but there's a lot of things to go wrong with your body. And as I say, if you've got one ailment already, and if you're not covered for another ailment, then that just adds another layer of insecurability with regard to getting health or getting fixed by a medical person. Each individual case, as Louis explained, every case is different, and every case can be looked at, and every case they can come up with a package. And over a period of time, even then pre-existing conditions can be not overlooked, but you could get maybe a little bit of a better package, because if you haven't claimed for them things, if you're on medication or something like that, and he gave me the example, if you've got high blood pressure and you've been taking medication, and he came up with a very, very good point that the entry level for high blood pressure treatment in America is much higher. Is much lower than it is in Thailand. So you get on medication a lot quicker in America than you do in Thailand. So if you haven't been taking medication for a year or 2 years or maybe 3 years, so that waiting period is opened, and you haven't been taking any medication, and they have your medical history, then you may be entitled to claiming for that as well. But this is by case, and this is where Loic and his team can actually go through it on a one-to-one basis, talking to a consultant, and they will tell you exactly what it is. Not Bob and John at the local bar said, "Oh, you won't be covered for this, you won't be covered for that, you won't be covered for the other." Ask the guy at the Pacific Cross; he will let you know exactly what you're covered for and what you're not covered for. Colin Champion, super chat donation. Thanks very much. A bit more for your solar, yeah. I've been busy with that as well this week. So, okay, getting back on a little bit of a light-hearted subject. We're in Bangkok for 2 nights, and we absolutely loved it. And I've done a couple of videos with regard to our Bangkok holiday as well, because it was like a business and pleasure thing. Because we talked to Loic from Pacific Cross, and my wife still wasn't feeling too well when she went to Bangkok, so she didn't want to sit in the meeting with me, so she went shopping. And then because she was tired with the shopping on the night time, she didn't want to go out. She just wanted to stay in the hotel room. So I went to, and I just think, oh, this is another opportunity for another video. So I went to Koh San Road on my own. Now, our hotel to the Koh San Road was a 15-16 minute walk. And there are so many people scared of walking around in the dark in a big city or various places. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna prove how safe Thailand is. So yes, I had a few beers. I had several beers and a little bit wobbly walking back, and I did a video with my hand in one phone and my DJI camera in the other. And I walked back to the hotel, which is like a 15-16 minute walk. And using the Google Maps, translated, walking, and it took me through some very, very dark alleys and over bridges. If you walked in any of them locations, for me in London, you'd have been mugged. because there'll have been people there. Did I feel scared? Not one bit at all. I've just done a video and I will put it on either tonight or tomorrow with regard to that. It's only 6 or 7 minutes long, but it shows me walking through Bangkok, a little bit inebriated with chocolate sauce on my lip, but you'll see why I've got chocolate sauce on my lip. And it's quite a funny video, really. But it's meant for those people who are a little bit unsure about walking around in Bangkok. I would say Bangkok is a lot safer than walking around the streets of London. In Redcar, where I lived on the northeast coast of England, I wouldn't walk around with my phone or my camera in certain parts of Redcar after like 9 or 10 o'clock on the evening time. So it just goes to show how safe Thailand is for everywhere. Of course, there's muggings goes on, and of course, there's crime goes on in Thailand, but not to the same extent as the Western world. The Western world has gone crazy for thefts, for muggings, for violent thefts. Just incredible. So my little video with that, and also a little video on the of the hotel that we stayed at. That was another quite funny video. I give it 10 out of 10 eventually, but at the beginning, the toilet seat, you could just go like that with the toilet seat, and you'll see that in the video. And we said to the lady, listen, you know, can you come and fix the seat? Oh, all the seats are like that in the hotel. It was a newly renovated hotel, and you could go like that with the toilet seat. So we rang the reception. The reception sent the man up. It was in 5 minutes. It was fixed, and it was very solid, and you know. But for the lady, the cleaner, she said, all the toilet seats are like that in this hotel. Beautiful hotel. I'll give the name of the hotel on the video. So watch the video. And it's got parking space, but it's down a very, very thin side. It's in old Bangkok, and it's 15 minutes walk away from Khao San Road in a very safe area. And a beautiful hotel. And the breakfast, nothing to shout home about, but very, very nice. It was okay and reasonably priced as well. So the hotel, I've got no complaints about it at all. I'm living in Bangkok and prefer to stay away from most expats. Just my preference. Yeah, not everybody wants to mix around with expats or whatever. You know, some people you can't be friends with everybody. And let's face it, your pool of friends over here compared to your home country is a lot smaller. And there are a number of people, I stay away from negative people or negativity. And I've met quite a few negative people and I stay away from them. Do you think you can use shorter visas if you want to stay in Thailand? I would be traveling every month to other countries. I don't need a business visa. And at 60, I won't retire for a few years yet. Yeah, you just get your 30-day visa, 30-day entry visa. And then you can adjust that and you get another 30 days on it. So if you fly out of the country after you or during them 30 days, just say 29th day, you fly out to another country and then you fly, but you get another 30 days. You can do as many as them as you want in the year because you've flown out and you've come back. So you can get 60 days altogether. So you get your 30-day visa exemption and then you extend that and that 1,900 for another 30 days. So that gives you 60 days. And then if you fly out and fly back again, you start the clock again at 30 days and then do the same thing again. So yeah, you can come in and out as many times as you want doing that method. And as I say, if you're traveling around, fantastic. You know, Asia is such a wonderful place to visit and so many beautiful and very safe places here. Vietnam we've been to, Malaysia we've been to, Singapore we've been to, Bali, not too keen on Bali. But yeah, so cheap to fly and travel around here. Most Russians in Phuket are below 45. How they're supporting themselves financially for extended periods of time. Yeah, well, that's reading between the lines. This is just my opinion of it, but this is why opening a bank account has become much, much more difficult nowadays because of money laundering and things like that on the tourist visa. It's the fact that the amount of money is being getting put through bank accounts over here, and the Ruskies have got a lot to do with that. Do I blame the Russians for moving away from their home country to avoid being drafted into the wars? Not at all. And if I was in the same position, I'd do exactly the same. Making a living over here, there's been many questions asked about that, and there's a lot of trouble going on now in Bangkok. Sorry, not Bangkok, Phuket, because there is the little mafia, Russian mafia, with regard to taxis, estate agents, businesses, gift shops and things like that. And the Russians are actually bending the law, and the Thai people don't particularly like it. So I think over a number of years, that's going to cause a lot of disharmony in Thailand, because the Russians, I mean, it's sort of shown favoritism. I mean, the answer was why the Prime Minister extended the visas to 90 days long for the Russians is because Russia has a very, very cold climate, and they want the Russians to be able to spend more time over here from December till April time. So he's extended it to 90 days. But there's parts of Canada that gets much colder than Russia, but they haven't been given 90 days. What about all the people that live in Europe, that live in cold countries? They want to escape the sun, and having a 90-day visa would be fantastic. So I think there's something a little bit behind the scenes going on with regard to the visa situation with the Russians. The Russians are certainly spending a lot of rubles over here. And yeah, the Russians are certainly spending a lot of money over here. Thanks. My next trip's to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines, all for work. Yeah, well, the Singapore, I love Singapore. Very, very clean, very, very nice. Yeah. Philippines, I've never been, but it's on my bucket list to go. Malaysia, I love Malaysia. I'm going to take the wife to Kuala Lumpur with regard to on the train from Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur, and it's an overnight sleeper train. So that's another adventure, but that'll be next year. Again, there's so many things that we want to do by living over here, and that's what I'm saying about when you retire, do your homework where you want to be. Retirement is a fantastic opportunity for you to go and live wherever and do whatever you want, because when you get to retirement age, let's say 67, which is it's a big number, 67, isn't it? Now you've got 67 years behind you. You ain't got 67 years more in front of you, that's for sure. So, and every year that passes, ailments, illnesses, health, all deteriorate. So you have a shrinking number of years to do the things that you want to do. So retire as soon as you can and do wherever you can, whilst you can, for as long as you can. Because that's the bad thing about getting old. It doesn't last for very long. I've done an ebook about that. Also for retirement, don't compare yourself with other people, what other people have done. You know, you're an individual. Do the things that you want to do with regard to retirement. You know, don't look at, oh, I want to do what they're doing. I want to do what they're doing. Make up your own mind what you want to do and do it yourself. Now, as I say, when I retired at 50, I knew for 100% I didn't want to live in the UK for the rest of my life. And I did travel. I traveled around the world for 2 years, and I learned a lot about traveling during them 2 years. I met a lot of very, very interesting people. And it's the interesting people who think outside of the box are the most interesting people. Because once you're at work, you're in your own little pigeonhole, your own little box, and you don't get to meet these people. But once you start traveling, you meet these people who are traveling, and you think, wow, you know. And as soon as I discovered the things that you can do, you can virtually travel around the world for free or for very, very little. And there's ways and means of doing it. And once I discovered that, I did it. And I did it to the fullest extent. I've lived in houses in Orvieto. I've lived in houses in France, Spain, New Zealand, Australia. Fantastic lifestyle. And you can get free accommodation and free food for maybe 4 or 5 hours work a day, helping somebody else out, painting, decorating, doing the garden and things like that, all over the world. And if you've got a skill like electrician, joiner, plumber, bricklayer, something like that, you can pick and choose where you want to work. I'll do a whole new video about that because it's so exciting, the things that you want to do. And don't think because you're over 60 that people don't want you. Actually, the over 60s are in demand because you have the skills already, you know, because you've been there, seen it, done it, and you've lived a bit of life, and you're not naive. So many things to do when you retire. It's an adventure. Don't look upon it with dread. Look upon it and take it as another opening the door to do the things that you want to do. A mate of mine, a smoggy, has bars in Patong. He said the Russians are causing havoc over there. Yeah. Well, I've heard also that the Russians actually don't frequent the bars. They're nicknamed in Pattaya the 7-Elevens because they'll sit outside a 7-Eleven or sit on a wall opposite 7-Elevens drinking the chang and the beer. In fact, the other day when I was in the bar in Khao Road, a very slender, beautiful looking Russian lady came and she had a big bottle of chang, put it on the table next to me, and she had a polystyrene box with rice in it, wherever, and went and she got some noodles, and she came back and she sat at the table eating the noodles, drinking a beer. None of it was from the bar. She never even asked the bar whether she could sit at the table. And one of the guys came over and just said, listen, move, you know, if you buy a drink here, you can eat here. But so she just like, and quite disgusted the fact that she'd been told to move on. But the Russians were nicknamed 7-Elevens because that's what they're doing. Same as the Indians. The Indians will buy one bottle of beer if they drink beer, and share it between 3 or 4 of them. So there's, you know, why Thailand wants these people. The Indians don't spend a lot of money, even though the Thai people say they want. You don't see them in the bars. You'll see them in groups of 3 or 4 people. My wife was sat in a massage place getting a foot massage, and 3 Indians came in, and they asked for a body massage, which was for 200 baht, and he wanted, you know, 20 minutes each for each person to have a body massage for the 200 baht. So in other words, they massaged 3 Indian guys, you know, for 200 baht, and the lady told them to go elsewhere. Very, very not polite and swearing at them and told them to go. But this is the Indians. And the Russians are nicknamed 7-Elevens because they'll drink the beers out of 7-Elevens, but they won't sit in the bars. So, yeah, we had a Russian guy pestering us in a bar in Jomtien when we were visiting Jomtien a few weeks ago. And the manageress of the bar kept telling him to go away, and she explained to my wife that he used to try to befriend people in the bar and get other people to buy him drinks at the bar because he said he had no money. And so basically the whole of the street knows what he is and just tells him to go away. But he's walking around there with a bottle of Chang beer, trying to talk to other people to encourage them to buy him more beer. Right. Allies, I'm going down the allotment again, pulling the last of my carrots, leeks and cabbages today. Going to make a nice leek and potato soup later. It's been raining down all week. Where's my beetroot? I'm still waiting for the package of my beetroots to come. I love beetroot. But have a nice afternoon in the garden. I love the allotment. It's a man's pleasurable spaces allotment, and it's good. It's good. Little man cave, a little shed, a little stove, little log burning stove to keep you nice and warm. In the winter time, you can spend many a happy hour down there. Good for you. Enjoy the allotment. Thanks for popping in. Need to see some more videos on your solar setup, please. Yes, I'm doing that now. I've actually been in the loft. Well, poked my head into the loft, and I've made a couple of openings into the loft because a Thai loft isn't the same as a Western loft where it's full of beams and you can walk all over it. It's very flimsy, and the roof's all hanging, just suspended ceilings. So I've made two more holes in the house, and I put a loft access, so I could run the cables in the loft without actually getting into the loft. And my solar system that I've got, it's just for emergencies only, and it's to run the TV, a couple of lights, the internet, and a couple of fans. So at most it'll be running 250 to 300 watts, and my battery, because we've had the fans running, have lasted all night, 10 hours, and it's not even drained half the battery, and they're 45 watt, a 45 watt fan. And the idea of this is because we've had the electricity out all night during the hot season with no fan, and it's horrible when it's like that. So we put this in as an emergency backup, and I'll go through the video. And it's a system that I'm actually building up, and I've got two 80 watt panels. One is with a grid tie inverter, and that pumps electricity into the house all the time. And then the other 80 watt panel is the one that charges the battery up. So yeah, I'm in the process of doing the video, and I've run the cables into the sockets now, and I'll go through that. I'm slowly putting the videos together. So within a week or 2 weeks, that'll be another video with regard to the solar. I mean, these solar lights here, you'll see one there, and there's another one there. So I've got 3 along these columns, and that's what the solar. There's 3 solar panels there. That charges them up, and they last for all night, 10 hours every night, and they've been up there for 2 years now, and they're still going strong. And I'm amazed. They were only cheap from Lazada, and they're still going very, very strong. We have solar lights all the way around the house, and that is a good money return, is buying the solar lights with a year's guarantee from Lazada, and they're just still going. Over a year, you get over a year without having to change any batteries on them, up to yet, touch wood. So yeah, solar, I'm a big believer of solar, so I will do that video in the next week or 2 weeks. If Les is unsure, I can help. Sorry for poking. I missed that. I must have. Let's have a look. See if I can go back on that. I can't go back on there. So I don't know what. I must have missed something there then. Asian men are like that in the UK too, Les. They are tighter than a nun's foo-foo. Yeah, but I can understand it in the UK because it's bloody expensive in the UK. I begrudge spending £2 on a cup of coffee in the UK when I was there. I begrudge spending £12 on a bacon sandwich and 2 coffees in Costa Coffee. £12, £2 for a lemon top ice cream actually £2.50, because I just got the normal 99 for £2. I wouldn't pay the other 50 pence for the lemon top. And in Redcar when I was there last year, almost a year ago now since I was there. Too many power cuts happening in our village, so I need to commit to solar. Well, you don't actually need to spend an awful lot. How much would you pay when the power is out with regard to, to keep cool, to have the TV on, or, the internet, or a couple of fans or something like that? That's what you need to look at. You don't need a whole system that takes over the whole house, because the payback for something like that, can be years. I mean, we just got our electricity bill yesterday, 489 baht. How can you save really? How much money do you have to spend to save 489 baht a month? Our electricity bill is never over 700 or 800 baht a month. So for us, there's no need to spend all that money on solar power. What we want is the basic stuff so we can switch the internet on or the TV on if and when it goes off during the power cuts. And I think I've managed to do it for less than 10,000 baht. That's include buying the battery, the inverter, the controller, and the cables and the switches. So about 10,000 baht. But when I do the video, I'll obviously price it all up. But yeah, there's no need to put a full-blown system in. You can actually do the system, because a lot of it is just plug it and play, which I've done, which is what I want to show people, that there's an easy method of being able to do this. Is it safe? Yes, it's safe. It could do with there's a couple of things you could do uprating with the cable sizes and that, because I used to be an electrician in England, and I wouldn't put something on YouTube that was unsafe, but it isn't as safe as what it should be, if you know what I mean. So I have all my solar connections, solar power outside the house here. So if anything ever went wrong with it, it's outside of the house. Not to say that anything is going to go wrong with it, but there's not much space inside the house to put it. So I put it into a location. You'll see the location when I do it anyway. But no, I'm all for safety, and but I'm showing you a very, very basic setup that you could actually plug it in play, and you can get your fans going and everything else going at the same time. And I'll show you that system within the next week or 2 weeks. All right. I'm living in Luang Prabang in North Laos. I spent 23 years living in Burma and Thailand, Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Krabi. Wow, you've been about a bit. And they're all much better than the UK. I'd agree with that, yeah. I've never been to Burma, and I've never been to Laos, but I'd like to go to Laos because I've seen Paddy Doyle, a couple of videos on Paddy Doyle, and that looks stunningly beautiful. So again, I've still got many places on my bucket list that I want to travel and go and see. Yeah, hi Paul, Uden Tani, nice place. Yeah, Uden Tani, I've been there once. A friend of mine built a big house just about 30 kilometers north of Uden Tani. Sadly, he's lost the house to his Thai girlfriend, but people did tell him, but he didn't listen. Do you think getting an agent to do the visa for the first year is a good idea? I'm moving there in April. It's Thai. Getting an agent to do it the first year is without doubt the easiest method of doing it, but you can do it all yourself. For instance, if you came on a visa exempt, you get 30 days and you extend that for another 30 days. So you have to be very quick off the mark, get all your ducks in a row within the first couple of days, go and open a bank account with a bank, and you need to get an agent to do that for you. That'll cost you 4,500 baht or so. Get your bank account opened, deposit some money from your home country, and do it over 2 calendar months, separate calendar months. Then that shows the immigration you've got 2 months income coming into a bank account. So that shows them that you've got the income method of being able to support yourself over here in Thailand. Now, go to the immigration officers. A lot of people are scared of the immigration. They think, oh, they're going to stop me from. They're not. They're there to help you. They're there to help you move to Thailand, because when all's said and done, they want your money. They will suggest, first of all, 800,000 baht in the bank, because the Thailand wants your money in their banks. But there are other ways of doing it. In fact, we're going to have another drink now, because there are other ways of doing it. You do not have to have 800,000 baht in the bank. And the 65,000 baht a month method is acceptable also. Sorry, I was getting a dry throat. So yeah, immigration, don't be scared of the immigration. They're there to help you. And they'll even help you with all the paperwork. And as long as you've got 65,000 a month coming in for 2 months, that qualifies you for the visa for the income method. If you use an agent, an agent will do all the paperwork. You don't have to show any money. then what I would say over the next 12 months, put 65,000 baht into your bank account every month. Then because you'll get a visa for 15 months if you get it through an agent. Then after 12 months, you've got the income method to show the immigration that's what you want to apply for, your retirement visa on the income method, which is 65,000 baht a month. So, yeah, an agent cuts through all the paperwork, and that's why people use agents, because they wave their magic wand and they do it, and it's a lot less hassle. But it's not a lot of hassle to be able to do the retirement visa yourself. Just means you have to be good, do your research and do your planning before you get here. Talk to other YouTubers, people like me, and they'll give you a step-by-step, way to do it. So then you know what you need to do before you even get here. Okay. Red lemon top. So what memories? Used to get there as a kid, and lemon top. I always look forward to it. Yeah, I never had it. I never really liked the lemon. It was too bitter. But a 99, yeah. But £2 for a 99. You can get a KFC ice cream here for 10 baht. And there's I forget the name, but there's an ice cream vendor, and you can get a double, which is a beautiful ice cream for 20 baht also. So I probably like ice cream. So boiling in the kettle for a cuppa now. The sun is out, mist rising from the raised beds, very atmospheric. As you can see now, we've got blue sky. We've got a couple of thunderclouds maybe gathering over there, and it looks a bit black over there. So you might hear a little bit of thunder. Now, I did a shorts video on one of my videos, and I set the camera up, and this thunderstorm was in the same place for an hour. So I just videotaped the thunderstorm and then edited it down a little bit, and it was just fantastic. I was sat out here for the whole hour watching it. I think it's the force of nature, thunder and lightning, is beautiful, and just the flashes that it made, and it was good. But that goes on for about 45 seconds. But I like thunder and lightning. But we haven't had that many big storms this year with thunder and lightning. Oh, you missed me comments. I'm going to post you a jar of beetroot. Thank you very much. I like beetroot. My dad used to grow beetroot. We had an allotment in Skipper's Lane in South Bank. We had an allotment, and then when we moved to Redcar, my dad used to grow all his own vegetables, potatoes, and things like that. And at first, I hated it. Oh, there we go. Rumble of thunder in the background there. I used to hate gardening, but then I got to like it, and growing your own fruit and vegetables and things like that. It's amazing. So yeah, allotment, having the time to go to an allotment is fantastic. So well done. I'll let you know when I get the jar of beetroot. Yeah, there'll be a big kerry van, and the kerry van will be full of beetroot, won't it? Contain a load of beetroot for Les. Yeah, Burma is not the place to retire to. The people are wonderful, but I was only there for teaching. Yeah, I've got an American friend who's married to a Burmese girl. He went to Burma for 2 weeks holiday during the pandemic, and he ended up being there for 3 years because he couldn't get out of Burma and back to Thailand. And there's still trouble getting to and from Burma now. He has so many problems, being married to a Burmese girl, being an American married to a Burmese girl wanting to live in Thailand. So it's not just one visa, it's 2 visas he needs to get. But again, we've looked at all these options, and we've come up with a plan, and he's got a plan now to actually get his visa sorted out here in Thailand, hopefully to mitigate some of them problems that he's having. Are you worried about the new tax laws being enforced on the retirement visa expats? Good question. I was going to answer this one. No, I'm not worried at all, because 80% of the people who live here will not be bothered by the tax. It's maybe jump, big flash. It's just a scare story, scaremongering story. No, most countries have tax agreements already, and Thailand isn't the place to be double taxed. There's ways and means around it. So I think a couple of legal guys I spoke to said 80% of the people that are retired over here will never ever be bothered by the tax system over here. I think there's a lot of bluster going on and scaremongering. Just see what happens in January. It's going to be far too complicated to administrate it in the first place. So am I worried about it? Not at all. Not a single bit worried about it. It'll be what it's going to be, and I don't think it's going to affect anybody at all through it. It's just one of them things that is being blown up out of all proportion. But that's just my wishful thinking, somebody might call it, but I don't think. Just listening to what the people who know, if you like, not Bob and John who sat on the bar stool and doom and gloom. They're going to force us out of here. Thailand wants people to spend money here, and by double taxing people, is that going to encourage people to stay here? I think not. So no, I wouldn't even worry about it. If you buy property, do you insure for fire, flood, and storms? Yes, you do. That cost me 6,000 baht a year for 4 million bahts worth of cover. So it's like everything else, condo. If you have a condo, if you have a leak in your condo, you are responsible for any water damage to the condo below you or anything else. So yes, you've still got to take out insurance as you would do at home anyway. Is it easy to open a bank account as an expat? Which bank would you recommend? It's not easy as an expat to open up a bank account now. The easiest way to do it is go and use an agent, and that'll cost you about 4,500 baht, and an agent will do it for you within 24 hours. That's the easiest way to do it. There's other people who'll say, no, if you've got the 800,000, you might go to 20 different banks or different branches to get the bank account opened. An agent, you're in and out. It's 4,500 baht, and it's done within a day. Okay, if there's ways and means you could do it, I'd be telling you how you can do it. But I'm suggesting that you go to see an agent. I can tell you how you can get your visa without an agent, but I can't tell you how you can get a bank account without an agent. So agents are there. So use an agent to get your bank account opened. You can beat an egg, but you can't beat a root. Farang Travels. Hi, Les. Hi, Farang Travels. Jomtien looks a nice place to retire to. Yeah, I like Jomtien. I lived in Jomtien for 2 years. I lived in Vutalay 2, which is near the bus station, and then Chateau Dale. They're both on the BART bus route, and it was 20 minutes from there to the centre of Pattaya, and it was fantastic. It's away from all the madness of Pattaya, but it's close enough so you can have a bit of fun. And Jomtien's nice. I like Jomtien's. It's got some nice people, nice expat bars, some nice restaurants. Yeah, if you live in Jomtien, you won't go far wrong. Now, the opposite of that is Nuklua. That's full of Germans. So yeah, there's a big German expat community there. Pratamnak Hill, full of Russians, Pratamnak. And Pratamnak, it's cheap to live there, but it's not on the BART bus route. You've got a long walk to the BART bus route, both when you want to get a BART bus and when you get off a BART bus. So I would suggest if you've got Pratamnak Hill, if you have transport, it's fantastic and it's cheap. But if you don't have any transport and you're you are relying on the BART buses and taxis, you're going to pay a lot more than getting a condo or a house near the BART bus run. Bangkok Bank is the most likely to let you open an account, but you need to have a rental agreement in place. Not easy to open. You're on a TV tourist visa. Yeah, that is why agents use that and make it easy. Yeah, I mean, that's who I'm with Bangkok Bank. And it's a bit like a chicken and egg. You need a bank account to open a visa, and you need a visa to open up a bank account. And some people are asking now for a 12-month rental agreement. So just use an agent. Don't try to redevelop the wheel, because the wheel's already done. And it's the Ruskies that have caused all of these problems in the first place, I would say. So use an agent. Even if that's the only reason why you use an agent to open up a bank account, it's going to be done then, isn't it? I will transfer a reasonable amount of money late December to live on, so can see what transpires with the tax law over January and February. Give me a couple of months. But according to Benjamin from Integrity Law, and he's been chastised many times for scaremongering and things like that, he says even if they started to wanting to tax people, it's going to take between 12 and 18 months to get all the documentation put in place to do that. So even if you move over here in January, nothing's going to happen for a year and a half. And apparently the logistical paperwork to do that in the first place is just horrendous. And it's not going to be worth the amount of effort to tax the people. No, it's just a bureaucracy nightmare. And for me, it's going to frighten more people away than encourage people to come here. And Thailand wants the cash from tourists and expat retirees over here. But again, that's just my opinion. I've lived over here for 11 years, and there's lots of scaremongering stories that come and go, about immigration wanting to look at your bank book. Now, that's true. Immigration can look at your bank book at any time. And there's another little bit of a scaremongering stories that the visa agents will use, is that by using a visa agent, the 800,000 baht is in your bank account for all of 30 minutes, if that. It goes in, they get the letter, and then a couple of dogs having a fight. So they get the letter, and then by getting the letter, you can get your visa. Now, when all said and done, when you go do your first 90-day reporting, if you do it at the immigration, they can say, we want to have a look at your bank book this time, because we want to see that you still got the 800,000. A lot of people will be worried about that. They go, oh my God, I haven't got the money. It's only been in there for 30 minutes. So then you go see the agent. And the agent says, don't worry, 500 baht, 1,000 baht, I'll sort that out for you. So now a lot of the agents say, we'll do the 90 days for you, and we'll charge you 500 baht each time we do it. And that saves any embarrassment of you doing the 90 days and they turn around and say, well, you haven't got 800,000 baht in your bank. It's just another way that they can get another 1,500 to 2,000 baht out of you. Yes, it is great, the fact that you don't have to worry about your 90 days. But in reality, you're putting a lot of trust in the agent that them 90 days will be done. Because if you don't register on your 90 days, then you're on overstay, and then that causes a whole lot of other problems. So you're putting a lot of faith in your agent to do your 90 days. Now, doing the 90 days online is very, very easy anyway. And you get a piece of paper, and it might take 24 hours, 48 hours for them to get back. It takes 10 minutes to do the application online. Even if an agent said to me, I'll do your 90 days, like, I'd say, no, I want to do it myself, because then I know it's been done, because I've got the piece of paper. I don't have to ring you up and say, have you done it? Have you done it? So agents are good, but they're not infallible. And if they cock it up, you will end up paying for it. Blah, 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 blah. How much is inflation year on year average in Thailand? Is it noticeable? I think it runs about 3.5% to 4% at the minute. So no, it's not noticeable. Things go up like everything else. It's just like some of the regular things. My coffee in the last year has gone up from 105 baht to 130 baht in a year. So that's quite a sizable increase. Everybody complains about chicken and pork and rice has gone up. But I would, 3 to 5% on something that costs very little anyway is better than, I think, 13 to 15% food inflation is running at the minute in the UK. So yeah, inflation, you can't get away from inflation no matter where you live in the world. But with inflation in Thailand, it's very little anyway. I mean, like for the 10 baht buses, it's been 10 baht for as long as I can remember in Thailand. You jumped on a baht bus, it's 10 baht. And it's still 10 baht now. And fuel, and cost of insurance and everything else has gone up also, but it's still 10 baht. In fact, I'm sure it'll eventually go to 20 baht. And you just think of how many people are going to complain about paying 20 baht to do a 25, 30-minute trip from Jan TM into Pattaya. Yeah, that trout lawyer so pessimistic, he needs to stop. Yeah, I think he did something like over 20 videos with regard to taxation and about YouTubers, because that was one of my because actually, that's a different story. But I actually questioned that one with regard to the YouTubers need to have a work permit. It's a grey area. It is a grey area, and I'll just briefly go through it. He was going to charge me 5,850 baht to even just discuss the topic of a YouTuber working and getting a legal work permit to be able to do a YouTuber. Now I earn off YouTube, which is taxed from America already, and I earn about $100 a month. It was going to cost me, because I went to see another lawyer who gave me the advice for free. And the other lawyer said I need to employ 4 Thai people. I need to pay their tax and their insurance on 4 Thai people. It was going to cost me anywhere between 80 and 120,000 baht to set up this company and have 4 Thai people work for me, even though they're not working for me. So technically, they are breaking the law because they're saying they're working for me, and I'm breaking the law because I say I'm employing 4 tax people, but I'm not, because I'm employing 4 Thai people, but I'm not. I'm using their names so I can obtain a company. So that is actually another grey area, and it's breaking the law because I'm not actually technically employing 4 people. So if there was a legal route to do it, then I'd be on it. I'd be doing it. But it's a grey area. And I'm such a small YouTuber in comparison to some of the big ones anyway. I'll wait until some of the biggies get clobbered. And then if that ever happens to me, I'll just stop. But that's what I'm saying. There are so many big stories out there that frighten people and scare people. And it doesn't take much to scare people when it involves money. And sadly to say, Benjamin, he does do a lot of good videos, I've got to say. He's very informative in a lot of them, but he has done an awful lot of scaremongering in the past few weeks, few months. He's even told me off about 1 or 2 things. And I've said to him, so you don't do any of these things that I'm suggesting other people to do? Never heard from him. But he does give out some good information also. So let's have a look. Highlights petrol $3 a litre now in New Zealand. Rip off. Wow. I just filled up the other day. It was 36 baht. So that's about 80 or 90 pence per litre over here. So yeah, we went to Bangkok, 3-hour drive there, 3-hour drive back for the equivalent of £12, just over 500 baht worth of fuel to get to Bangkok and back. Bangkok is a wonderful place. I would say food inflation in the UK is around 40 to 50%. Wow. The government figures of 8% is misleading and it misses out lots of things. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, the baht bus was 10 baht in 2000. Yeah, I first came to Thailand in 2002 and it was 10 baht then. It cost me 20 baht to get from Pattaya to Jomtien. We came to Jomtien for the day and then 10 baht back, and I'm thinking, wow, that's just so cheap. Mr. Mitch, good afternoon, Mr. Mitch. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for coming to see me. My misunderstanding, if you cannot go on an overstay, if you miss the 90-day report, maximum fine 2,000 baht. Overstay is if you overstay your visa. No, you can actually be on overstay for missing your 90 days. You can apply for your 90 days 15 days before it's due and 7 days after it's due. Then after 7 days after your 90 days is due, technically you're on overstay. I don't know how much the fine is for overstay, but you're still on overstay. So I don't know 100% sure for that. But again, that's what I'm saying. You're trusting somebody else to deal with a very, very important piece of paper, your 90-day reporting. Now, there was talk of going to do away with the 90-day reporting. If they did away with that, that would just be so... everybody be jumping around very, very gleeful and happy. I don't think there's any need for a 90-day report because, everybody knows where you are anyway these days. Nobody's invincible. Nobody is untraceable. But anyway, it is Thai laws. What we want and what we would like are two different things. So you live in Thailand, the paperwork over here, a lot of people whinge and moan and complain about it, but it's not that difficult when all said and done. It's easy. It's not difficult at all. We do the marriage visa. That's a pain in the backside because the amount of paperwork that you got to do. Okay, 90-day report. 90-day report online on report. Now, I had one of my subscribers ask me to do a video on 90-day report. Would people be happy if I did a video on a 90-day and do it a step-by-step on a video and make it like so simple that it's so easy to do on a 90-day online report? And it is so simple, but that's speaking from somebody who actually does it. But the person who asked me to do it had never ever done it before. So he asked me and I talked to him step by step and he did it. And he said, Les, he said, you're the only person who's actually explained how to do it. And there's plenty of advice on the Google and the internet. And he said, it's not very clear. So basically, if you want me to do a 90-day, a video of it, of a 90-day report, I'll do a video on 90-day report. But again, until you've done it, I suppose it's all difficult. I mean, I find all the paperwork not incredibly hard over here because I've done that much of it, and it's not difficult. There's always people there to help you out for your driver's licenses and things like that. There's always somebody helpful and can be able to help you along your way. There's nothing too difficult. Jennifer Bank, let's have what was your previous question, Jennifer? Please, can you answer my previous question further up the list? It's scrolled up too far, Jennifer, and I can't scroll back down. I'm sorry. So if you ask me that question again, Jennifer, and I'll answer your question. Heavy rain currently in Pattaya. I'm looking out towards that, and it looks very, very dark. I can see, even though we're at 90 odd kilometers, it's very dark in that direction. I'm in Rayong at the moment. Any British run bars in the area? Yeah, Melonpun Beach. Merumpung Beach. There's lots of English and Australian run bars along there, and it's quite nice as well because you sat just over the road from the beach. So Merumpung Beach. There's lots of them down there. Ben knows how to flog a dead horse for views. Yeah, last 3 videos we're painting the new changes of TM30 reporting. I've not seen his latest one, but TM30 again, it's just a nonsensical thing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Report of our online 90-day report. I've had no problems with 90 days online reporting on the 18 months now. I used to walking, also TM30 after returning from the US a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, the TM30, technically, I mean, because we went to Bangkok and the hotels fill out the TM30 that you've been to Bangkok. Now, technically, I'm supposed to say, write a TM30 out to say that I'm back home in my house, or the landlady is supposed to do that. That sort of, they don't insist on that anymore now. They just take it that you will return back to your, your place of residence, because that's in your passport anyway, your place of residence. So they assume that if you're not staying anywhere else, you will go back to your place of residence. So you don't have to fill out a TM30 when you return home. Yeah, that answers your question, Anthony. TM30 requires reporting every time you return overseas, and even if you return to the same address, the risk of getting fined. No, they don't enforce that. They don't. I've never heard of anybody being fined for returning back to their home location. That's sort of been stopped. Les, you saved me so much time with the 90-day. You forgot us. IT Frit Farang. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the video. I'm going to do the video for sure. I've had that. We're doing the solar, doing the water, going to Bangkok, having the interview. My sort of days have filled up now. I don't know how I managed to fit working 7 days a week, because even though I'm retired, I've got something on virtually every day. I'm meeting people, talking to people face to face. So yeah, my days are pretty much filled up with what I want to do, not because I have to do it, because it's what I want to do. Jennifer, right, how do you move your state and private pensions into a Thai bank account? Okay, Jennifer, sorry that I missed that. Your state and your private pensions into a Thai bank account. I take it that this is from England. So basically, your state or your private pension will be paid into a English bank account. Then you just transfer that amount of money through Wise into a Thai bank account. And TransferWise, as it used to be called, but it's called Wise now, is the cheapest way of moving money over from one country to another. For instance, I get between £1,200 and £1,300 transferred every month, and that costs me £7 or £8 to get that amount of money transferred over to my Thai bank account. So TransferWise is the answer to that. You don't move your pension to Thailand, it stays in your home country bank account, and you transfer to your Thai account monthly via bank Wise better. Yes, basically just what I've said there. But if they ever close because Barclays Bank now are turning around and saying if you don't reside in England, you can't have a bank account with Barclays Bank. Now I'm with Barclays Bank, but I'm registered at my sister's house. So therefore, I've still got a postal address. So technically, because I'm actually not living in the UK, they could close my Thai bank account down. But if that happens, you can actually get your state pension and your private pension transferred over to your Thai bank account. So there's still no problem with doing that. It might cost you a little bit more money to do that, but I'll cross that bridge if I ever come to it. And hopefully I don't come to that. But I don't get my state pension yet. I'm 3 years away from that. I'll enjoy the money when it comes in, but I won't enjoy being 66 when I have to get it. So, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Sibling Frog, for your advice. They are checking the date of the last entry stamp and comparing it to the date of TM30 in Pattaya, and unfortunately are finding people. So actually spoken to a person. Hang on, hang on. They are checking the date of your entry stamp and comparing it to the date on your TM30 in Pattaya. And unfortunately, now your TM30, you don't see your TM30. Your TM30 is a form which is sent to immigration. So you don't have a TM30 in your bank, in your passport or anything, and you don't carry any paperwork with regard to TM30. The TM30 is the landlord or landlady's responsibility to inform immigration that you are at that address for this amount of time. So my landlady lives in Bangkok, so technically I'd have to inform her that I'm living back at the house. She would have to then submit the TM30. So I don't know how the police can check your TM30 with regard to, the dates, because all you've got is your resident address, which is in your passport. And there's nowhere that they can check, because the police and immigration are two different authorities, that they can check your TM30. So again, unless you can speak to the person that's actually being fined and find out the proper details of how they work that out, I don't know. Bye-bye. Left the house 8:30 a.m. to go to BBL Bank. Copy letter of the fund came down to savings. A few minutes later, walked into immigration walked out and promised that visa will be ready in 30 days. Now, is that for a marriage? Because it's 400k is for a marriage visa. Yeah, 400k is for a marriage visa, and marriage visa is very, very complicated to get. So I don't know where the 400k comes into it. Some private pension companies only pay international accounts every 90 days. I know because Royal London advised me of this. Again, different agencies have different standards type of thing. But then, as I say, once you get paid for the 90 days, then so then you put your ducks in a row and you make sure that your money's going to last you for your 90 days. Wise is amazing, but don't keep a lot of money in the Wise account. Also, I would never have a lot of cash in the Thai account. Safer in home country bank, in my opinion. I agree with you. That's why I say to people, there's ways and means around it. You don't have to have the 800,000 baht in the bank account, especially with the fluctuation, with the exchange rates going up and down. And it's only a paper loss if you need to draw the money out. Now, what is a good way of keeping your 800,000 baht in your bank account is for instance, if you are of a certain age where you can't afford to pay the medical insurance. I've already said that my medical insurance cover is 700,000. So that's actually close to the 800,000 baht that some people would have to have in the bank account for a retirement visa. So you could use the retirement visa money, 800,000, to sort of do two jobs. There's emergency backup for medical treatment if you require it, because you can't afford to pay for the medical, medical insurance. So 800,000 baht there. One is the easiest way of getting your retirement visa. And two, it's an emergency fund there in case you're sick or you need medical treatment. So that's one of the good ways of keeping 800,000 baht in the bank account, because it serves two purposes. So, and it doesn't matter whether it fluctuates up and down the interest rate, because you're using it there as an emergency money in case you're sick. And it also guarantees that you're going to get your retirement visa every year. That's the easiest way, by putting the money in the bank account. So, like I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to use the money or different funds available. Yes, the marriage visa. Yeah. Now, hang on, let me go back to that. You left the house at 8:30 to go to Bangkok Bank. Copy a letter of 400k in savings. A few minutes later, walked into immigration by 10:30 a.m. Walked out with a promise my visa will be ready. So, what about all the other paperwork? The documentation, the car or two to say that you're still married, the the photographs of inside your house, the letter from your landlady to say that you are renting, or even if you've got your own property, that the registration book and things like. There's a whole host of paperwork that you have to give to the immigration office. It's not as simple. I've done it for 5 years in a row now, and it's not as simple as you make it out to be. That you just go in there and I'll promise you'll get a visa within a month. Then you also have to have a visit from the immigration office to your house to verify that you're actually living at the house. It has been not a nightmare, but the paperwork. Out of the 5 years of doing this, is the first year that we've been in and out of the office and got it done in one trip to the immigration. The first year it took 6 trips to the immigration. So your marriage visa isn't the easy way of getting a visa in this country, that's for sure. TM30 slip is stapled to the last page of your passport. Yeah, that's your registered address, but it doesn't tell you what day you come back to there. And they can't check what time you came back to that address, or when you've left that address and when you come back to it. So your TM30 is just the proof of address of where you're living. I can't think whether it's actually called a TM30. It's just a proof of residence. In fact, let me go and look. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I just want to go through this and make sure. Right. In the last page of your passport, now it doesn't say anything about a TM30. It is, have received notifications of aliens' address, who notify the residents where aliens have stayed. And that's all it is. And that's in the back of my passport. And that's just to say, this is my registered address, but it doesn't say TM30. There's nothing that says TM30 on there. And when you do your 90 days reporting online, you get that. And that you just print that out, and that tells you the date that you've got to do it the next time. And you can apply for that online, and that's 15 up to 15 days before and 7 days afterwards. But that piece of paper on the back of your passport, there's nowhere it says there it's a TM30. It's just a proof of alien's address of where you're living, and a stamp from immigration to say this has been verified. So it's not a TM30 in the back of your, it's not a TM30 form in the back of your passport. TM30s are done by a landlady, landlord, or hotel. How much would it cost to transfer 800 back out of your home country bank after the visa stamp, or must you keep the 800,000? Now, the 800,000 baht has to be in your account 2 months before the application and 3 months afterwards. So in effect, it's tied up for 5 months of the year. Then you're allowed to go down to 400,000, but not 1 baht less than that. So in reality, you've got to keep 400,000 baht in that bank account for the whole year. And it's the only 400,000 baht extra that you got to put back in. And so is it worth doing that? You know, when you can do the income method, 65,000 baht a month, and that shows the immigration that you're on over 800,000 baht a month anyway. And at the end of the day, you need some spending money over here, so you might be spending almost close to that anyway. But I've done a recycle method. So if you don't spend this 65,000, but you still need to show the 65, there's ways and means of doing that also. So the answer, you do not have to have the 800,000 baht in the bank all the time, but it comes in handy if you're getting older and you haven't got the funds to pay for the medical insurance, and your 800,000 gets you a retirement visa and is also an emergency backup for treatment. Let's have a look. Since the new visa office in province seems to have got a lot more strict with visas, you don't get good interest in the Thai bank account. No, you don't. But of course, they don't want to give you money. But you can tie it up in a different savings account, I believe, and maybe it's a little bit better interest than just in a normal savings account. But I don't know, because I've never had 800,000, and nor will I likely. And even if I did, I wouldn't be keeping 800,000 baht in a bank account here at all. Who are you using to transfer funds back to the home country? Now, Wise don't do transfers back to your home country. Well, Wise don't transfer back to UK or America. So D-Money is the company, and as far as I'm aware, it's the only company in Thailand that actually sends back money to England and Australia and America. So that's D-Money, but you have to actually go down in person to the bank in Bangkok to open up an account. But yeah, and it's 150 baht to send your money back to your home country. I think that's for any amount, because there's several people that I know that actually use that method to send money back home, because they use it as a recycle method. So there's ways and means of doing everything, and it's totally legal. D-Money do it legally, and there's nothing untoward about it. But it's just a way of using the system. Paperwork done the day before, yes. Plenty of copies, and we own the house. Hardest part, finding someone to show up as a friend. Done it for the last 4 years. You know the routine. Yeah. Again, it's our immigration officer. She sits there, and I think she's just on a power trip, because, as you know, there's a list of documents that they require, and then she comes up and she says, "I want to see the electricity bill." There's nowhere it says on the documentation, "I want to see the electricity bill." So we drove home 45 minutes, got the electricity bill, took it back, showed it, and she said, "Yeah, that's okay." The following year, now we've had the same landlady all the time here, and we've done the same documentation every year, same landlady. And she said, "I want to see the shanut of the house that you're renting off the landlady, that it's in the landlady's name." Again, there's nowhere on any of the paperwork that is asked for, but because that's what the immigration officer asked for, that's what we got. And the landlady wasn't too happy with that, because even a copy of the shanut is a very, very important piece of paper. But this is the power trip that some immigration officers have. So if she asks for it, then she has to do it. This year, she pulled us up on two things, because I didn't have my bank book updated as many times as she would like it to have been updated. But we live 20 kilometers away from our bank, so we don't pop down to the bank every month to get it updated. I do all my transactions online, so I don't need to update my bank book. But she tells me I need to update my bank book more often. Also, the landlady's signature was in black ink, and it should have been in blue ink. So these are the two things that she picked us up for this year. But we got it done in one hit. But the marriage visa is certainly a complicated visa to get. It's not as easy as the retirement visa. You're in and out in 15 minutes. But that's the way it goes. Okay, bye-bye. Do online every 90 days, and it takes 2 minutes. Easy. Yeah, it's easy peasy. But if you've never done it before, it's only easy once you've done it a few times. That first time for everything and everybody is always the hardest. But once you've done it once or twice, it's not difficult. John Shaw's. Hi, Les. When I get my retirement visa, I am allowed to leave Thailand during the length of the visa. Will the visa become invalid? No, what you do then, you get either a single entry or a multi-entry visa. Now, a single entry visa is 1,000 baht, and a multi-entry is 4,000 baht. And what this allows you to do is, you get the single entry, as it says, you go out once and you come back and your visa's used, and that's 1,000 baht. And it's only worth buying a multi-entry visa if you want to leave Thailand more than 4 times in the 1 year. And that's when it becomes viable to buy 4,000 for the multi-entry visa. So the multi-entry visa is very easy to get. You get it at immigration. You can even get it at the airport. So yes, you can come and go to Thailand, but you must fill out one of the re-entry visas, because if you don't, your visa's null and void. I know several people who fell foul of that law and didn't know about it. They've left the country, come back in, and they've been given a re-entry permit for like a 30-day visa. Then they questioned it and they said, no, you're left without a re-entry permit. So then they have to start the visa process all over again. So yeah, it's very important. Single entry or re-entry, multi-entry. 800k is such a scam. Imagine the hassle if you passed away. Family will have a right battle against. Yeah, but I've also done another video about, again, putting your ducks in a row. And we all know we're going to die one day. So put everything in order before that day is going to happen, because we all know it's going to happen. Now, I've done all the paperwork. Some people look upon it as being macabre or whatever, but I'm not here for my wife to ask the questions. As far as my insurance, my pensions and things like that, I've pre-filled out most of the paperwork, so it just needs the T's crossing and the I's dotting. And then we've gone through what is going to be asked of her with regard to the death certificate. Do you know also, if you die in this country and you're not married, what a palaver it is, that you've got to get your next of kin to be able to get the death certificate, which has to be given to the embassy, and the embassy has to get it translated. Well, you've got to get the death certificate translated into your language, such as like the English language, to be able to be given to the embassy, and then before they can release the body from the hospital. Dying is a complicated process over here. So look at, you know you're going to die one day. We're all going to die one day. So put all of these things in order before you do it. So my wife knows everything, what's going to happen, who she needs to contact. And one day my pension will stop, although she's got a pension for life. And I said, one day the pension will stop, because they'll be checking up on you that, one, you're still alive, and two, that you're not married or your circumstances have changed. But if I hadn't have told her that, then she would have thought, oh, Les says this is going to get paid for life, but it stopped. She wouldn't know who to ring or who to contact. But she does now, because we've actually talked through this. So she knows what's going to happen and what might happen in the future. So you need to talk about all of this. Like, it's a very serious thing that you've got to do. So that's one thing that I said that you've got to do. Make plans for when you're not here, because then your partner can't ask you, well, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? Planning and preparation prevents PPP. Where comes when handy in moving to Vietnamese, and you avoid bank charges when traveling. Gee, there's a lot of hassle living in Thailand. No, I don't think it's a hassle. I don't think it's a hassle at all. I think it's very, very easy. But it's like there's paperwork no matter which country you live in. And for me, it's not a big issue. It's easy, because I've lived here for so long. Do I like doing it? Nobody likes doing paperwork. Nobody likes hassle. But it's a small part of 12 months of living, a happy life here. Hi, Les, your neighbour here, Jeff, watching you sitting on the porch in the thunderstorm, nice and cool. Yeah, it is. There's a thunderstorm in the background. You'll keep hearing a bit thunder and lightning in the background, but it's a nice cool breeze. It's actually come down now, because remember when we first started it was 34, and now we're down to 31.6. So actually the air temperature has cooled down a little bit, which is good. As long as it holds off, I don't mind it. But it's if the wind comes, then it'll drive the rain in. Then I'll have to stop the stream, because otherwise all my computer will get wet. Right, is there any other reason other than interest rate for not putting money in a Thai bank account? I was thinking to transfer a major chunk to Thailand because now the baht is pretty weak. So that must be an American, yeah, the American dollar against the baht is quite strong at the minute. Swings and roundabouts, you know. I'm not a financial advisor, so if you've got the money, play around with it. If you haven't got the money, just do whatever suits you and what's the cheapest way of doing it. You know, for me, I transfer the money first or the second of every month, because that's when my pension comes into my account in England. And even if it's a baht difference, it can be like £70 difference in one baht exchange rate. So I watch the exchange rates every month, you know, especially when it comes close to getting my money. And it does make a big difference. You know, I transfer like it's only £1,300 a month I transfer over, but for me, that's a lot of money. And if you're like £40 or £50 difference, it's another day's shopping or a couple of days shopping just because of the exchange rates. Did you get, hang on. Which bank are the best to use for all things? I recall Bangkok Bank used to have you sign the endless amounts of paperwork. No, I use the Bangkok Bank. I've never signed a piece of paper. Well, I do sign a piece of paper every year when I get me bank statements, and that's it. But we have the online app, which I pay everything. I pay everything with the online app, and I draw money out with an ATM once a month. So it costs me 30 baht to draw me money that we live on every month, and we pay everything else on standing order. Not standing order, by transferring the money from my bank account to their bank account, which is free, using the Bangkok Bank app. So yeah, for £1,300 a month, it cost me between £7 and £8 to transfer it from England. It cost me 30 baht to draw that money out of my bank account every month. So that's less than £1. So for less than £10 a month, that's all my money, me charges paid for transferring the money and getting the money out of my bank account. Did you get your will written in the UK or in Thailand, Les? I don't have a will. Because I'm married, my wife has become my next of kin. I'm not leaving any money to anybody else, so my wife is going to get everything. So there's no need to do any wills. I've got nothing in England, so she's not entitled to anything from England, and no, so I've done no will whatsoever, because in my mind there's no need to do it, because she's my next of kin. She's going to get everything anyway. But yeah, I understand if people have got family and friends and relatives and children living in a different country, you need to get two wills done: your Thai will and an English will. So the things go to the right people, because if you don't have the wills, then it can make life complicated, and especially if you're not married to a Thai person, then everything goes to your next of kin anyway, which could be your daughters, your aunts, your uncles, or whatever. And so there's been a couple of people that I know that have died thinking that their girlfriends are going to get everything, and they've got nothing, because there's been no will and everything has gone to the next of kin. So again, it's like everything else. You're going to die one day. Make sure that your money goes to the people that you want it to go to. Thai banks are only insured for the first million baht, whereas the UK banks, 80, that's very correct, 100% correct. So, I mean, if you've got 800,000 baht in a bank account to act as guarantee, say, for your retirement, you're very, very close to the 1 million baht anyway. But it's not very often banks go bust anyway. So it's just another reason not to keep your 800,000 baht in the bank. But the likelihood of that's going to happen, very rare. Definitely no hassle living in Thailand. It keeps your brain working. Yeah, it's not a hassle living here in Thailand. Me and my mate, we got drunk in Pattaya. I've never seen anybody drunk. Never seen anybody drunk in Pattaya. Got picked up George and Mildred motorbike, three-wheel in the Irish Sky. There's always a way. I've never seen anybody drunk in Pattaya. Never. What's your take on the Thai government saying they will tax Farang's income? I mentioned this earlier on. It's not going to happen. That's my take on it. It's not going to happen. There's too much paperwork involved with it. Double tax treaties and things like that. It's more hassle than what it's worth. And they're going to frighten more people away than actually encourage people. And this is what Thailand want at the minute. They want our money. So by mentioning even going to tax somebody, it's going to drive people away to other countries. So in my mind, but I'm no financial expert, I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's just been, somebody's cottoned onto it and it's been blown out of all proportion, and it's there to frighten people. And there's various people wanting you to seek their legal advice at a small cost to tell you you're going to be okay. But let me tell you for free, you're going to be okay. But I'm not a legal advising person. So don't sue me if I'm wrong. But I would say you're okay. Unless I know the paperwork can be a pain, but it would never put me off moving there in April. What's the alternative? I can't wait to get there. England is not the place it used to be. Exactly. Paperwork isn't a big thing over here. Thank you, Les. I guess I need to explore a marriage visa. A marriage visa is, for me, it just gives you a little bit more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Security living here. If they do change the rules and things like that, the fact that you're married to a Thai means that you're committed to Thailand. And if you're married to a Thai person, you should have a few more rights about living here. It's not like if you're a retirement that they can force you out of the country or whatever. But by being married, I think you've got a few more. I can't name a few offhand, but I just think you've got a few more rights living here. And if there is any thinking about, they were talking about putting the retirement up to money in the bank to 1.2 million and having 100,000 baht a month. Now, if they did the same to the marriage visa and they put the marriage, money into the bank where it has to be 800,000 and you have to have 65,000, by being on a marriage visa, you're a little bit more still comfortable with the money. But that's just my opinion on that. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. Certainly not for the next few years, because Thailand, their exports aren't going as well as they just want people's money. They want people's money coming into Thailand, so they're not going to, hit the hornet's nest and frighten loads of people away. They're trying to encourage people. The way they could have done it is what they talked about with the 90 days, giving everybody 90 days, but no, they've just given the Ruskies 90 days. So that was a bad move on my point of view. But Thailand is Thailand. It's going to deal with their own political situation and their own thoughts. We can put our pennies worth in, but it doesn't mean nothing to Thailand. Thailand is always Thailand, and it'll do what Thailand wants to do. And we've got to put up with that. And I would put up with that. My UK bank charge is £9.50 to transfer money. You have to send slightly more than the 65k in the Thai bank charge too. Luckily, open an account and live so charged at the ATM. Well, use TransferWise or Wise, and that'll be a lot cheaper than the £9.50. That's for sure. I mean, mine's £7 or £8 for £1,300. I don't know how much your money charges for that, your bank. But yeah, bank charges are a rip-off in England. I enjoy British bars, good people. Can't wait to retire in Thailand. New Zealand is too expensive. Yeah, New Zealand was expensive when I was there. Yeah, marriage visa can give you a permanent residency. Now I looked into that. Because I thought, okay, I'll live here, and I don't want to. I don't want to leave Thailand. But again, I looked into the being a permanent resident and becoming a Thai citizen or whatever, and the paperwork that's needed. But that was at a cost between 90 and 150,000 baht just for the visa. And then it was another 5 or 6,000 baht for the paperwork. So let's round it up. Say the whole lot was 150,000. It cost me 1,900 baht a year to go through the hoops that I have to go through. Now that's a lot of 1,900 bahts and 150,000. So no, forget about that. I'll stick to the plan, and I'll pay me 1,900 baht every year. 100 to 150,000 baht to become a citizen. Now here's the rain. It's raining now. So hopefully the wind doesn't get up and start blowing all the rain into the house. Let's have a look. Yeah, what I like about Wise is anything under 50,000 it's instant transfer to a Thai account. Over that, it takes 1 or 2 days. Yeah, I usually, if it's at the beginning of the month, it might take a day or 2 days. Well, usually a day. But if it's midway through the month, it's done in seconds. So it comes and goes, swings and roundabouts, I think, at the end of the day. So, all right, let's have a look, see what else we've got. Okay, here comes the wind. The wind's. Hang on, I'm going to move everything a little bit. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to move my table. There you go. There's live. What's going on? My papers are blown all over the place. So I'm a little bit further away from the rain. Oh, one more little move. Hey, well, a rainy day, rainy afternoon in Thailand. And we've got the rain, maybe about 3 or 4 inches, well, maybe a foot. Yeah, the wind is sort of blowing it this way, so we've got a little bit of. Oh, it's getting too strong now. I'm gonna have to cut the live stream off now because the rain's blowing into this way, and I don't want it to get all over my computer. So sorry about shutting the live stream off early, but due to the bad weather, inclement weather, and the wind's blowing in this way, it's been nice talking to everybody. We'll do another one soon. So bye for now.